With 10 years working at sea, I think I am an expert at avoiding seasickness. And something you really want to avoid when you go on a cruise is seasickness. So in this video, I am going to be giving you my top tips. And the reason I'm making this video at the moment is I'm actually going on Norwegian Cruise Line's brand new cruise ship, Aqua, which I am really excited about. And I'm doing a repositioning cruise. So we're going all the way from Southampton to Boston. Actually, I will be on board when this video comes out. So I am currently on Aqua if everything has gone to plan. And because we're going to be at sea for a few days crossing the Atlantic, which is notoriously choppy, I was brushing up on my seasickness prevention plan. So it's going to be really embarrassing if I give you all of these seasickness tips and then when I make the video about my cruise I'm like, I was seasick. So who knows? Watch this video and then watch the NCL video to see if this actually works. But this advice did work for me while I was working on board cruise ships for 10 years. So hopefully the sea hasn't changed too much and this stuff still works. So without further ado, let's get into it. Our seasickness prevention plan begins before we have even got on board. It starts with our travel agent. So when you are booking your cruise and you are selecting your cabin, you want to make sure that your travel agent puts you in a cabin that is in the middle of the ship. And I do mean as central as you can get. So yes, you want to be midship, you do not want to be forward or aft, but you also want to be in one of the middle decks. The higher you are, the more you are going to feel the motion, as well as lower, you are going to feel the waves. So if this is one of your very first cruises, make sure your travel agent books you in a cabin that is as central as you can possibly get. Now, on the same vein, when it comes to cabins, I would really recommend booking a balcony cabin. One of the worst things for seasickness is being in an inside cabin, because when you're seasick, your equilibrium is thrown off. So something that really helps your mind when you're in this state is seeing the horizon. If you're in an inside cabin and the ship is rolling around, you're going to feel like death. And if you are feeling seasick, you are just going to want to lie in bed. I mean, if you're anything like me, I don't want to do anything when I'm feeling seasick. But if you are in an inside cabin, you're going to have to hang around in public areas to be able to see the horizon. And also having a balcony cabin means that you can open the door and have a little bit of that sea breeze coming in, which again is going to help. So if you are prone to motion sickness and you think that seasickness might be something that you could get, please book a balcony cabin. If not a balcony cabin, at least book a cabin with a window. I know that they're more expensive, but trust me, if God forbid you do get seasick, you're gonna be so happy that you spent the extra money. Number two is if you are prone to motion sickness, don't book a cruise with multiple sea days. I've said this before, but when I worked on cruise ships, we would have people coming on their very first cruise and it would be a 2-week transatlantic crossing. And they'd spend the whole time throwing up and then vow to never go on a cruise again and couldn't understand why some people liked it. This is a bad idea. Transatlantic crossings, repositioning cruises, cruises with multiple sea days together are for experienced cruisers. People who know that they're all good with a sea day or two. If it's your first cruise, you ideally want to book a cruise with no sea days, but at least with 1 or 2 sea days that are apart. So at least if you find out that you are seasick on that first sea day, you're all right because you know at least tomorrow you're going to be in port. Trust me when I say there is nothing worse than finding out you are prone to seasickness and it's your first sea day of 5. You're not going to have a good time. Also, where is this cruise going to be sailing? In terms of what sea is this cruise ship going to be sailing through or around? If you're sailing from Southampton in the UK, you're probably going to have to sail through the Bay of Biscay, which is notoriously very choppy. The Bass Strait between Australia and Tasmania is some of the worst sea I have ever sailed through. Whereas if you're just going from Miami and you're going to go around the Caribbean, it's all good. most likely. So this is something else to consider, because if you're wanting to go on a European cruise but you're prone to seasickness, it might be better that instead of sailing from Southampton, going through the Bay of Biscay to get to the Mediterranean, it might be better if you just fly to Barcelona and save yourself the headache and literally the sickness. Number 3. I've said it before and I'll say it again, you really want to avoid going to the medical centre when you are on your cruise, because not only is it time consuming, it's also very expensive if you end up needing medication or needing medical assistance. So I would recommend you taking a little pharmacy with you, including seasickness medication, ideally non-drowsy seasickness medication. Obviously, whether you select non-drowsy or drowsy medication is completely up to you, but a lot of people don't know that most seasickness medication is drowsy, so do look out for that when you're purchasing it. But some people do like to have the drowsy seasickness medication because when you feel seasick, sometimes it can stop you falling asleep, so at least if you get some medication that's going to make you drowsy, it does help you get a good night's sleep. Also, if you are feeling sick, sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is just take a nap. Now, of course, there are seasickness preventatives that don't require you to ingest any medication, and they're things like sea bands. I don't actually know where my sea bands have gone. I did have some. I've obviously lost them, but they're basically little elastic bands that have a hard plastic circle, and you place them so that hard circle is on a pressure point in your wrist, and that helps you stop feeling seasick. I was very, very skeptical before I tried these. I was like, there's no way that this is going to work. It worked for me, whether it was placebo or not, it worked. And if it was placebo, it still worked. So then you also have the seasickness patches. I'm not gonna lie, I've literally just chat GPT'd how they work. And it says,
seasickness patches like scopolamine patches work by blocking certain signals in your brain that cause nausea and dizziness. Your inner ear helps with balance. So when you're on a boat, your inner ear senses movement, but your eyes might not see it the same way. This confusion sends mixed signals to your brain, making you feel sick.
Which is why it's good if you can see the horizon.
It slowly releases scopolamine, a medication that blocks a chemical called
acetylcholine
in the nervous system. Since your brain isn't getting the confusing signals, you're more stable and don't get as sick. So that's how the patches work.
I personally haven't ever tried the patches, but I am going to take them on NCL Aqua with me, just in case. I'm at sea for a long time and have not been at sea for that long in a long time. But if you are looking for any of these remedies, they will be linked in the description box down below for you. Now, if you are wanting some even more natural remedies, ginger is a great one. Whether it's ginger tea, whether it's ginger ale, when I worked on board, if I ever felt seasick, I would always grab a ginger ale and it seemed to do the trick. And then another seasickness remedy that is a firm favourite of crew members is eating a green apple. And the reason that a green apple works is because it contains sugars and acids that help to settle the stomach. I think actually...
So green apples have a high amount of malic acid, which helps neutralise stomach acids and reduce queasiness. Mild sweetness provides a quick energy boost and can prevent the weak, shaky feeling that comes with nausea. Fibre in apples aids digestion and keeps your stomach from feeling too empty or too full, both of which can make nausea worse.
So that's why a green apple works. And ChatGPT is why I work. And the last one is something I used to get wrong all of the time. When I was feeling sick, I used to drink so much water. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't until like my second contract that one of my managers was like, you know, that's the worst thing you can do if you're feeling sick, because the water is in your stomach sloshing around, which makes you feel more queasy. They're like, the best thing you can do is limit your intake of water, and you want to eat something stodgy and carby so it sits in your stomach and helps you like stabilize. And when she told me that, I was like,
I don't know that that's right.
But it works. And I know the last thing you feel like doing when you feel seasick is eating, but if you can eat maybe just half a slice of bread, it will make you feel a little bit better. So have a green apple, have a little bit of bread, and I'm sure that you'll feel all right. But those are my expert tips for avoiding seasickness. I really hope I don't need to implement any of them on my cruise, but it will be interesting if I do. I hope not. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have found this video helpful, then please press the like button and leave a comment. And also, if you want to hear more from me during the week, please consider signing up to my newsletter. It'll be in the description down below, or you can head over to my website, cruisingascrew.com. But as always, guys, I really am so grateful that you are here watching these videos with me. It honestly means the world. So I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. And as always, I will see you in the next video.